Can this pigskin survive this crazy cannibal world? Welcome, my name is Sickly Shogun. You can call me Six if you want, and welcome to my channel. Now back to the question, can I survive this cannibal planet? In this series, we're gonna find out if I succeed or fail miserably. Let's go meet the planet and meet the crash landers. The pigskins finally landed at the dreaded planet. Stumpy, being the leader of the Crashlanders, ordered the group to start planting rice, make a small warehouse, and set up the tents. She also made a well and a latrine, since their kind needs these necessities in order to separate them from the animals of this world. After all, pigskins need the proper hygiene to remove their odors and have their sense of smell unimpeded. A day has passed and it finally looks like a simple functioning colony. But such colonies on a planet does not go unnoticed by its native inhabitants. In the dead of the night, the tribal scouted and invaded the Baconist domain, shouting a war cry that shook the defenders and prepared themselves for the attack. Mulkin shot at the invader before he can cause harm to Poigliog. Poigliog. Either way, the bullet pierced its rib cage and torso. The pigskins, or baconists, whatever you want to call them, turned the native into a prisoner and treated him well. Well, right before the interrogation. After waking up the next day, Stumpy tried to converse with the native, only to find out that it was one of their worst fears. Apparently, they are on Cannibal Planet, and the pigskins are a gift from the gods, which is a nice way of saying, you are a sacrifice. Of course, this made our protagonist a nerd. A little later, there is another crash pod that landed on their colony. Well, of course, this Xeno was a bit unfamiliar to them. It had furry skin and had wolf-like features. Upon closer inspection, this guy had paralytic abasia, in which Stumpy made a decision to let him stay here despite being unresponsive. Upon the colony's consideration, they made Stumpy the new leader of the Baconists, since she is the only competent one to lead. With a decent social skill, she might be the key for the colony's survival. Several days later, the colony even grew larger. With a new bedroom and an upcoming research room, it's now looking great for the Baconists, with Moiken and Stumpy getting together as lovers. Their mood is elevated, of course, which is a great boon for the colony and in this mad world. In the days that passed, there were two trader caravans which surprisingly aren't cannibals. Both were trading as bulk goods trader, but both had items unnecessary for the colony's survival. In the 8th of April May, not a quadrum has passed, their first Outlander visitor, or should I say raider, greeted them. Despite being non-cannibalistic, these Outlanders are skeptical and try to eliminate any potential threat. That includes our poor piggies right here. Stumpy tried to save her, but it was too late. She was gonna use the raider to inform the Outlanders that the Baconists come in peace. A day later, after that incident, there were two refugees asking for help. They were Codex and Cell. Codex was a little bit suspicious since his religion was cannibalism and the colony had enough of cannibals. Therefore, the safest option was to simply banish him. Cell, on the other hand, is a child, and I don't see any harm in keeping a child. One thing that I did forget to tell you was Stumpy is pregnant, and now she is experiencing labor to give birth to her child. She was quickly rushed to the barracks, where Mr. Boyle assisted her in giving birth to her newborn child and tiring out Stumpy. Days gone, and the colony got rid of its food shortages thanks to Moiken and Mr. Poyle. With the classroom being finished so that Cell can utilize it, Stumpy acted as a teacher and taught Cell on several things such as constructing and medicine. Meanwhile, Moiken and Poigliog has done farming and a little bit of research. They also made a dining room so that they have a proper place to eat. A quadroom has passed since they crash landed, and the Baconists decided to do a baconical fair in order to lift the spirits of the colony. The ceremony went well, and the celebration was exceptional that Charles happened to pass by as a Baconist practitioner and intercepted their radio. She did ask them though nicely to let her join, and of course the Baconists, seeing her of the same faith, accepted her to their fold, despite being an unwanted xenotype. But Stumpy believed that pigskins and baseliners are of the same skin. In a twisted sense of humor, a boar which is related to pigs attacked the colony as if Father Bacon was mad at their decision. The boar fiercely charged at Cell, making her run away from her tent and drop her knife. Fortunately, Stumpy was able to save the child and slain the boar with a critical hit. Anyway, back with Charles. Since Mr. Poyle has cataracts on both eyes, Stumpy made Charles the head researcher. She explained to Charles that they need to go and escape this planet. Charles of course graciously accepted this job and started right away. And the colony was calm several days. But the silence was broken. A raid 3 people strong, wanting to take prisoners as sacrifice to their rituals. With careful positioning, these cannibals were incapacitated. Still, despite being cannibals, the Baconists tried to save them all. Only one cannibal survived that encounter. And several days yet again passed, with the colony doing their day-to-day jobs. But this time, they were given a boon, which are 2 yaks joining the colony. But it came with a price. There were tribals, cannibal ones were looking for those yaks. And seeing those yaks stumble upon the colony, they decided to take their sacrifices too, by initiating a raid. Most of them died, and the Baconists stripped them of their clothes so that they may not use up their valuable resources. They also accepted a quest from the gentle tribal chief, and wants the Baconists to guard the 2 people that escaped the cannibal ritual, in exchange for Mianga. After accepting, the 2 refugees arrived at the colony via drop pods. Nicknames were Val and Trostrozonia. For the time they stayed at the colony, they were a helpful bunch. They did witness the practices and culture of the Baconists, such as the conversion of Cell, which to be honest, moved their hearts during that time. Finally, the wolf-like xenotype woke up. They found out that he too was a cannibal from outer space, so they decided to banish him instead. That was a grave mistake. A day later, the colony was raided again by the cannibals. Maybe someone tipped them, or they planned this several weeks before. This time though, it was noticeable that the cannibals were getting bolder and bolder with their numbers. After all of that was done, a shuttle arrived for the two refugees and flew away back to their homes. The tribal chief radioed in, thanked the Baconist, and as per agreement, Miana arrived, of course to help the colony. She introduced herself, especially to Charles, which both are interested in researching. At least after Miana's arrival, it was quiet for several days. Then, in the 2nd of December, something significant happened. It was the marriage of Moiken and Stumpy. They have given their vows to each other. Till death do they part.